Okay, this is a reaction video. This is Mark Goldbridge. Liverpool rocked by PSG defeat. Look, I saw the game, and Liverpool had many chances to score. In fact, they should have been down 3 or 4-0 when they came back to Anfield after what PSG pretty much dominated them in Paris. But Liverpool ended up getting a 1-0 victory in that game, and then they came back, and then Dembele scores after 12 minutes in the and basically end up going on penalty kicks. But Liverpool rocked by PSG defeat. In fact, I think Goldbridge picked Liverpool to win the Champions League, but that's not going to happen. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me. Let's take a look. Liverpool rocked by PSG defeat.
Hello B, welcome to That's Football. So Liverpool are out of the Champions League, and the big question is, what is next? Well, a Premier League title.
Well, the Premier League title they're going to win. They're also going to. They also have a good chance to win the League Cup on Sunday.
Title will be next, potentially a Carabao Cup win as well, but it won't be what Liverpool were thinking about maybe 2 weeks ago when they were still in the Champions League. So look, let's discuss it. What happens with Salah, Van Dijk, Darwin Núñez, Trent Alexander-Arnold? It's a big summer for Liverpool. Where do they measure this season now? And I think the big thing I would say is that it's quite refreshing actually in this world of hyperbole and sensationalist headlines. The way Arne Slot spoke after the game, actually, even as a Man United fan, I sort of took a step back and went, hey, you know what, to be fair, he's had a bloody good year at Liverpool. Because what he basically said is, that's the best game of football I've been involved in.
Yeah, it was a great game. There's no question about it. It was a fantastic game. But they just, for whatever reason, Liverpool, they dominated the second half, and they should have gotten a goal in the second half, but they never did. They could just never get that one goal. And in extra time, PSG pretty much dominated them in the stoppage time. I mean, in extra time.
Last week, PSG played the perfect game and we beat them. And last night, we played the perfect game and we couldn't get the goal that we needed. And ultimately, we've been divided by penalties. And that's the fine lines of football. You'll get people shouting and screaming about big mistakes. Slot got it wrong, this, that, and the other, because they've got to justify their headlines.
Yeah, there's always somebody to blame after a defeat. But realistically, I don't know that Liverpool could have done anything more other than score the goal. That was the only thing they didn't do. It was score the goal.
But the reality is, I watched both games. I thought PSG were way better than I was expecting. And people are going, best Premier. I'm very proud of the Premier League. So a lot of people have messaged me going, best league in the world, my arse. And I'm,
what the hell are you talking? I mean, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Look. You got beat by penalties, okay? You just didn't score a goal. If you would have scored a goal, you'd have gone through if you're Liverpool. To sit there and say, blame it on the Premier League is just complete nonsense.
I'm like, well, it is the best league in the world. Just because Liverpool lost on penalties to PSG doesn't mean the Premier League isn't the best league in the world. It's the most watched. It's the most competitive. There's not many other leagues in Europe or the world that have got teams like Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth fighting for the Champions League, or teams like Man United and Spurs in the bottom half, because there's so many teams better than them. We have a brilliant league, and Liverpool are going to win that league. But in the Champions League, the beauty of it is we've seen the Porto.
It's also a cup competition, and one loss and you're out, or over the course of 2 legs. I mean, it is not, like I said, Liverpool pretty much got dominated in Paris, and then they dominated for the most part in Liverpool. And again, it was 1-0 victory in Paris, 1-0 loss at Anfield, and it is what it is.
And the Inter Milans win these trophies in the past because over 2 legs you can get what you put in. And I think PSG have found that way of, they don't need Neymar or Mbappe. They can do it as a team, and maybe they should have been doing that 10 years ago, because as a team they look very good. But it was fine margins, and it's disappointing. As a Man United fan, I remember this used to happen to us. We'd win the league, you'd get knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, you'd feel a bit flat for a few weeks, and then you'd win the league and go, you know what, that's been a good year. And I think for Liverpool at the start of the season, if you said to any Liverpool fan, Arne Slot, any Liverpool player, you will get knocked out in the Champions League by PSG in the last 16, but you will win the Premier League, they'd have gone, yes please, yes please. But obviously the reality is they're going to feel a little bit sore this morning.
Yeah, look, for all intents and purposes, you were looking at going back to Anfield, Anfield night, up 1-0, all you have to do is avoid giving up a goal. If you avoid it, if Dembele doesn't score that goal in the 12th minute, Liverpool goes through. Okay, that all they needed was either score a goal or avoid getting a goal scored against them, and they go through, and they couldn't do it.
Ultimately, this is going to be a great season for Liverpool, winning the Premier League title. They wouldn't have expected that. And they will. I don't think in a couple of days' time or a couple of weeks' time they'll really give a toss about the critics. It will be a good season for Liverpool, and Arne Slot's done a great job. That's where.
Yeah, I mean, what happens in the future happens in the future, but what happens now is what you can control. Assuming you can win the League Cup, which is a possibility. I mean, you don't have to worry about. Newcastle is a decent team. I forget who they. Oh God, what's his name? Alan Gordon. I think his name is out because of red card accumulation. I think that's what we're talking about.
Where the praise stops. What next is going to be interesting, because you talk about that Liverpool team, and it sort of happened with Klopp last year. They should have won the Europa League. They didn't. They were in a title race that fell away. They won a Carabao Cup, and this year, I don't think you can sit and say Liverpool should have won the Champions League, but they should have gone deeper and they were one of the favourites, and this can happen when it goes to penalties.
Look, assuming they had beaten PSG, they probably would have faced Aston Villa, which would have been a pretty good, a difficult tie, but certainly winnable. And then they might have played Arsenal, Real Madrid, or Atletico Madrid, not PSV, obviously. Either one of those games is potentially winnable, difficult but difficult but doable. And then you would have played whoever you played in the final, but it wasn't meant to be.
But I think the thing for Liverpool is you sometimes miss out and you go, next year will be better for it. And I think that's the big thing with Liverpool. Next year, will they be better for that loss if Van Dijk's not here, Salah's not here, Trent's not here? Will they be better for it? And I think that's the thing that maybe some Liverpool fans will be a little bit unsure about this morning and today is, will we be challenging for the Champions League next year? Will we be challenging for the Premier League next year? And look, things look good with Arne Slot, but to lose Van Dijk would be bad. To use Van Dijk and Salah would be horrific. And I don't know what that's going to do to that team.
I think you're going to lose Salah. I don't think you're going to lose both, but you're going to lose one of the other.
If that's going to happen. They need to keep hold of those players, but they also need to improve. And I think if they didn't have the cloud of Salah and Van Dijk and Trent going, you'd look at that Liverpool side and you would say, next 2 or 3 years, they're a real problem for winning the Premier League and the Champions League if they replace Darwin Núñez with somebody like an Isak or an Osimhen or a Gyökeres or whoever else they're thinking of. I don't know.
Yeah, look, Núñez is not you're looking to change some things with Liverpool. There's no question about it. You're going to have to make some difficult decisions, but it's one of those things that look, you had a good opportunity, a pretty much a golden opportunity to win the Champions League, and you failed because you just couldn't score a goal against PSG or prevent them from scoring.
If they can bring in a striker that can fit that system, and it's got to be a distinctive type of striker because of the way Slot plays, he likes his number 9 to sort of drop in and the wide players to go beyond. But if they bring somebody in like that, because I think the Darwin Núñez experiment is over, and I'm sad about the Darwin Núñez experience being over. I have to be completely honest here. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I don't like Liverpool. They're our biggest rival. But I did like Darwin Núñez at Benfica, and I actually think that Rangnick was sort of pushing for it, and I think even Ten Hag liked it when he came in, but we weren't in a position to do it, and Liverpool did, and I was convinced it was going to work.
Yeah, but Núñez is just, I mean, look, if you play him on FIFA, he's fantastic. FIFA 25, he's fantastic. Scores goals like a boatload. But play him in the Premier League with Liverpool, just not good enough. Not doesn't have the ability to score.
I like his mobility. He's a chance magnet. The problem is he doesn't put him in the back of the net. But it's a skill to get in the positions he gets in. He just can't put it in the back of the net consistently. So I've always quite liked the player, but obviously, just because you look at a player and go, I like them, doesn't mean that they're going to be successful. You know, I look through, we all have personal opinions and favourites and theories, and I'm probably wrong about Darwin Núñez. I actually thought he would at some point click at Liverpool, and it feels like that penalty miss last night was significant. I know there's been plenty of missed.
Yeah, the penalty, the penalty was just, he just wasn't, didn't have a whole lot of confidence when he took the penalty. That was. It's a horrible miss for Liverpool that he missed that penalty. But those are the breaks. Those are the things you have to deal with when you're a player and you're taking penalty kicks.
Chances, but it felt like that penalty miss is significant because you can miss a penalty in a Carabao Cup shootout. You can miss a chance against Brentford, but if you miss a chance that's got jeopardy, then people remember that. And I think that Darwin Núñez and Slot have had a bit of a rub up this season, and I think he'll be moved on, but I think Liverpool need to do that. So what I go back and say is, what next for Liverpool?
It'll be interesting to see where he goes, where Núñez goes, who he's sold to, because I think there's a player there. I think there's a goal scorer there, just maybe the wrong place at Liverpool.
What do you think happens here from here? Do you see them as a team next year that will fight for the title and fight for the Champions League, or do you think it might be more challenging? I've been saying it for a few months now. Liverpool will win this league. I predicted they'd win the Champions League at the start of the season, which obviously they haven't, but nobody was really predicting that at the start of the season.
That's true, but you also picked them to in the video I did with you. But like I said, PSG was too difficult a hurdle to cross.
Saying for a few months now that I think actually Slot's second season is going to be his most challenging, because there's so. When you come in and take Klopp's team with no transfers, he deserves massive amount of credit for that, because it's not easy to take on.
I don't think Liverpool's going to win the league next year. I don't think they're going to win a whole lot next year, especially if they lose. Even if they just lose Van Dijk, I think they're going to lose. I think they're going to struggle next year.
On someone's team and get them to play for you, but there'll be more pressure on him this year because he actually will get money, so he'll be scrutinised on the players he brings in, and also some of the players that could be going are going to be very hard to replace. You can't take Van Dijk out of that team and replace him. It's impossible. You know, he's one of the best centre backs in the world. You can't take Mo Salah out of that team and replace him. He's one of the best players in the world. I think Trent will be a miss as well, and I think
But I think Trent can be replaced. You don't need. I mean, Trent Alexander. Goodbye. You don't need Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not as important as Salah and Van Dijk are.
Will go, but the way they operate in the transfer window, I would say Liverpool must be operating now. Like they need to get it right, because the competition next season, when you look at Arsenal, pretty much a striker and a midfielder, and they're going to be up there, aren't they? So yeah, I think for Liverpool, it's going to be a very interesting summer to monitor. There are advantages for Liverpool, though. I mean, that Club World Cup is a bit of a joke. They're not in it. Which means that their players can.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that thing. I don't understand why they're doing that. It's in the United States. It's fantastic, but it's really silly to have a Club World Cup in the summer. I mean, if you want to do it, maybe every 4 years, just have it supplement the Champions League and do it during the regular season. But having there's going to be no break for these players. It's going to be very, very difficult to because it's just one of those things that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Can get rest, recuperation. That could be really quite damaging to Man City and Chelsea, and sort of put them out of a title race straight away. So Liverpool are in a good position, but as I said, winning the league is amazing for them. Their next step for them is going to be, can they do it again next year? And I think that is going to be the real focus, looking at it and going, who's going, who's staying? Because if they keep Van Dijk and Salah and bring in a decent striker or two and a couple of other players, they're going to be right up there.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to keep both. I really don't think that's going to happen. Man, I could be wrong.
But if they lose one of Van Dijk and Salah and they get the transfer market wrong, then I think they become vulnerable. Get your comments in below. Let me know what you think. Smash the like on the video. We're back tonight with Champions League watch along as well. I'll speak to you all in a bit.
Okay, this has been good. Liverpool rocked by PSG defeat, but again, that understood. This is Mark Goldbridge. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.